Hi, Dr. Lori Puskar. We're going to talk today about the new DNA thing, and is it legitimate, and what's the real story? The cool thing is that DNA, as we know, has been around for quite a while. So the science and the technology surrounding it is already known. It's just that we've gotten a lot better at it. And whereas before it could only be used in a paternity test or kind of to decide what color hair you're going to have and or eyes, that's great. But now that they understand what they're looking at when they look at the individual DNA strands, it can tell you so much more to the story. And the reason I know this is because I had to do it for my own personal health. So I've been doing nutrition and chiropractic and all kinds of cool alternative medicine since 1996 now. And though I've substantially improved and handled my own health, I ran into a little pickle of my own just a few years back. And I'm like, what's this all about? And despite everything I knew and already was doing and, thought that I was doing correct, there was something missing. And I'm like, oh no. And I was like, oh, so more work. And I know a lot of you know that already. When you see something, or even you've seen some of my other videos and you're like, oh no, it's totally fine. In a good way, there's nothing you're going to do about it. The bottom line is you're just trying to handle a health situation and do the best you can. So what I did is I started researching out this whole DNA thing, and I thought, well, I'm definitely not going to tell anyone about it or do it on any of my patients. I'll make myself my own personal guinea pig and see what I think. So I went and had my own DNA test done and got the results, and then started teaching myself, what does that mean? What did the Human Genome Project uncover? Is it really legit regarding my health? And how in the world does this have to do with anything? And I'm like, okay, so digging, learning. And then, of course, guinea pig, applying it to myself. And lo and behold, it actually worked. And just like I said a minute ago, it's kind of like, oh no. I was like, I already do so much in the practice. I already know so much. There's already so many tools to get sick people well. I'm like, do I really have to implement this as well? And after a lot of soul searching, I realized absolutely yes. And then I have to share it, because it's opening the door to handling your health at a level that's just ridiculous. Because you have to realize you're getting down to the actual DNA strands. I mean, that's the bottom of you. There's nothing below that. Like when you look at you and I'm under those wicked cool microscopes, like at the bottom, there's DNA, and beyond that, there's nothing. And so there's nothing left to chance. So you have to take a look at it as you kind of go down in layers. So the first layer is you have a health situation or a symptom. And then the next layer down would be taking a look at your individual body. And then taking a look at the next layer down would be looking at your individual body parts. And then the next layer down would be looking at your blood work. And then the next layer down, which finally, like I said, is the bottom, is you now have the information from your DNA. And now that we have it, it's probably where you should have been looking all along, and it should have been much earlier on the chain, but since we didn't have it, we didn't do it. So now that we have it, it's a good idea to just kind of start there and have it as a cross-check, if nothing else. So I'm encouraging everyone just to have it done, so you have it. And that way, whether you need it or don't, it's already done. But from personal experience, like I said, and obviously what I'm doing with patients now, it's making such a huge difference, because again, there's nothing left to chance. There's no uncertainties, no problems, no misunderstandings. And I was like, wow, this is like a really cool way to practice. So I know who you are, right down to maybe more than you actually even want to know about yourself. But that just gives me all the tools. It just allows me to be so much more effective and efficient and get the job done. And then the next question becomes, how is this even possible? It's like, okay, Lori, I'm not getting the connection between DNA and health. This is just like way too out there for me. It's like, I totally get it. What you're looking at is you're just encoded a certain way, and that's how you get DNA. And then you all know the word genes, and so you have genes. And some of these genes are designed perfectly, and some of them are designed a little bit inefficiently. And that's why when you've heard the cliche throughout history, when someone can do something really well, what do we say? Oh, he must have good genes. Well, unfortunately, some of us have to have bad genes then, don't we? So in order to have the opposite of the comparison, if this guy's got good genes, unfortunately, somebody had to get the bad genes. And it's not even a matter of good versus bad. It's just like, this is the set of genes you have. These are your genetic strengths, and these are your genetic weaknesses. And the goal is not to try and pin either one against each other or label you one versus the other. The idea is how do we take your good genes and further strengthen them, and then how do we take your weaknesses and have them work for you instead of against you? And how you do that has to do with how your body works biochemically. So you don't actually do anything to the gene per se, but what you do is you use the gene as your guide. So when you see a non-optimum gene raising its hand over here like, hey, we're not so good over here, once you have the DNA analysis, you're like, oh, hey, look at that. So, gene number 7, not so good. All right, good. What does gene number 7 do? Well, gene number 7 is one of the weight loss genes. Okay, good. So now let's go take a look at weight loss genes. Does this person have trouble losing weight? Is this person already overweight? It's like, okay, we're not going to get into the good and the bad of it or blame anything or get into the mysteries of the universe as to why this all is. The simple fact is that you didn't get the best lot when it came to your weight genes. So we take a look at those individual genes, like I said, and then see what they do, which is actually more important. Let's say gene number 7 creates this particular enzyme, and that enzyme is responsible for metabolizing fat, and you didn't get a good set of those genes. All we do is then take a look at how we're going to get your body to outcreate gene number 7 and get it to actually produce the enzymes to break down that fat. We can do that with nutritional supplements. We can do that with diet. We can do that with stem cell therapy. And we can do it with a few other tools. And again, it depends on what gene you're looking at and what the potential of the different solutions you can use to handle it. That's what genes have to do with health. It provides the roadmap for how to get there. It's not actually the answer itself. I see too many healthcare practitioners and people in the health industry trying to scare you with that information and use it to their advantage. Where, oh my gosh, you have the heart disease gene, you're gonna die. Quick, go on beta blockers now before you die. It's like, no. That's like not how we're gonna go about that. Let's say the truth of the matter is that you didn't get the best set of cardiovascular genes, then let's take a look at those foods that actually help with cardiovascular risk. Are you currently taking vitamin E and or other cardiovascular factors? And if you're already taking them and you're still at risk, then whatever you're currently doing isn't enough. So a lot of what we're looking at is not that you're flat out doing everything wrong and that you have it a total disaster. Part of it is we're going to take what you're already doing right and then just make it more right. So that's usually what I try and do is like, let's take what's awesome and good and make that more awesome and good. And let's just take all this not so other awesome stuff and just put it to the side and have you be the best version you can be. So it's really cool. It's really complex. And a lot of my patients keep asking, well, I don't really understand it. Can you explain it to me? The answer is most likely no. So unless you have a degree in genetics and or biochemistry and or physiology or anatomy, I really can't explain it to you. And the bottom line is that you have to trust that I know what I'm doing, that I have enough training and background in those areas to be able to tell you what to do versus what not to do. Because you're really, again, you're looking at you right down to the bottom of your DNA coding. And when you get down there, it's like Pandora's box down there. And it's just a matter of being able to stay certain in what you're looking at and then kind of bring yourself back up the slippery slope. And that's what I've been doing with each individual patient for ultimate success. It's very exciting, very complex, doesn't have to be scary. Know that my job is to just sort it all out for you. And I look forward to helping you with that. So I have a DNA optimization program. And if you'd like to take advantage of that, go ahead and sign up for that online at www.drloripuskar.com. And there's going to be a coupon code you can insert there and just type in the word video. And then that's how I know you watched this video. And you can take advantage of that. Let's just see all of the genetic risk factors and or predispositions that you might be at risk for. And let's just get those working to our advantage. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.